We going Punsolved mysteries, y'all. We going Punsolved mysteries now. We about to get in our bag. We about to get in our bag on this, y'all. We finna research Diddy's mama. Who's down to research Diddy's mama, bro? That's what we about to do right now. Let's see what the mother had going and what was her alleged parts in this. What was Diddy's mother alleged parts in Diddy's actions? This is Punsolved Mysteries. Let's get into it.
Now, peeps, it appears that Mama Diddy is just as guilty as her son.
You are such a mama's boy.
In a new lawsuit, it was revealed that the inner workings of Janice Combs, the mother of the disgraced music mogul, has come under fire as her skeletons are now falling out of the damn closet.
And by tomorrow afternoon, everyone will know.
Now, already known to be a frequent guest in many of Diddy's FO parties, and also reportedly had to be on the IV drip at a lot of them.
Show yourself, unclean spirit.
Evidence has now been revealed that she helped her son assault a woman and tried to bribe her to keep it on the hush-hush. Now, she takes enabling your son to a whole new level. Now, in the lawsuit, basically indicating that Diddy assaulted the woman and he tried to throw money at her to get her to say that it was consensual. Now, the woman ended up refusing and was enraged at a point it was screaming that Diddy assaulted her. Now, P. Diddy called his mom, who basically negotiated on his behalf and yelled at the woman to take the money and wanted her to say that it was consensual and also forced the victim not.
Hey, have we ever thought this is just thinking out loud? Because usually somebody that is a freak at this level that this dude is a freak at, just next level nasty, that usually was somebody who was, played with when they was younger. Now, I'm not throwing that out there that his mother did something, but let's keep digging, man. Punsolved mystery.
Not to report it. Now, Janice Combs clearly sees no wrong in all of the awful things that her son did.
See what I'm saying? That's out of pocket, bro. Y'all still kiss your mother on the lips at this age? Are y'all still, y'all still kiss your mothers on the lips? Huh? Y'all don't find that weird? I think that's weird, that's weird. What?
Does. Now, I wonder if it has anything to do with him slapping the shit out of his mother, too.
Wait, you did what?
Told me he should have saw this coming with Cassie and the way he treated women when he slapped his mother. And I was like, he did what? And Kirk Burrow said, yeah. I just thought because of what he was going through with the tragedy, it was like, I was stuck on stupid for a minute, but he was like, yeah, I thought that he would grow out of it, or it was just because all the shit he was going through when he slapped his own mother. I said, Kirk, let me tell you something. I said, Kirk, don't you remember when I told you when he cussed his mother out? And I think it was even that, Kirk, when we was getting in the limousine, he cussed his mother out. He told his mother to stay out of his mofo business. And I told him, man, you ever talk to your mother? You remember that situation? He said, yeah. I said, Kirk, why you didn't tell me then that he that he slapped his mother? Because if you would have told me this...
Dog, slapping your mother is diabolical. Slapping your mother is a different level of disrespect. Listen, any nigga that'll slap his mother, ladies, any nigga that'll slap his mother is a clear sign that he is not for you. If he'll slap his mother, imagine what he'll do to your ass.
Slapped his mother, I'd have beat the shit out of him, Kirk. He was like, Gene, I thought he was, you got to realize he was just a kid, and I thought he was going to grow out of it and all the stuff that he was going through. I said, my man, that's a bunch of bullshit right there. You understand? Somebody should have whooped his ass way back then. When you do your mother like that, you don't care about no woman in the street. And he was like, I know, Gene, but he was just a kid. This came from Kirk Burroughs' mouth himself. I was like, yo, that shit is crazy. Had I known that back then, yeah, I wouldn't have worked for no dude like that, man. I wouldn't even F with him. I'd have told all the dudes in the same gang, and we probably would have beat the shit out of him when he came around. Nobody was going for no shit like that, man.
That nigga would have had you whacked. He would have had you whacked, Gene Deal. He would have hit you with that, what's the shit? Pneumonia. You would have had that pneumonia out of nowhere. Wow.
He slept his mom?
Bruh, according to Kirk Burroughs, he was in a depression. His mother was trying to do something, and his mother was saying something, and the nigga slapped his mom. You know, I say, yo, and I know everybody gonna say, yo, why this shit coming out now in the whole 9 yards? This is a part of why he do the shit that he do to women. And people gotta understand that. This is the part of why he do the things that he do to women, bro.
Hey, do anybody know, because it's not coming to the top of my head right now, do anybody know why, like, Gene Deal, where does this hatred, what sparked it off, the hatred for Diddy to make him go in on Diddy so hard like this? Because he goes in on Diddy hard. But, you know, for somebody who's around you all the time to start doing that, it's like a turning point where something went all fucking bad. Like, for one, you his bodyguard. So when you his bodyguard, you can't leak no secrets and all that. You like the closest nigga to him. You following him. You seeing him day in, day out. But then it has to be he do you wrong. What was the breaking point? Has that ever been identified, the breaking point of what made Gene Deal and Diddy fall out, or Gene Deal turn this way on Diddy? Because he, like, hates that nigga, bro. Let's keep watching.
Because if you do that type of thing to your mother, you know, I heard him curse his mother. I checked him on that. But had I known he put his hands on his mother, I don't give, excuse me, sorry about that. I don't care what kind of thing that he was going through after the City College tragedy, man, it'd have been a real tragedy for his ass.
Yeah, that's wild, man. To put your hands on your mom, man. I don't know what to say about that, man. That's crazy, man. But speaking of Kirk Burroughs, he did an interview with LA Times, and he said that he saw Diddy punch a female back in '94 at Bad Boy offices, to the point that they broke a coffee table, and he had to break it up.
Oh, this nigga Diddy's been on a rampage. 1994. He's been, damn.
Well, Kirk Burroughs would know. Him being the president of Bad Boy at the time, and he cleaning up a lot of puff shit. You know what I mean? So if anything went down, Kirk Burroughs would know, because Kirk Burroughs would be the one that had to go in there and mediate and clean up all the shit that he would do. You know, but like you said, that, you know, he thought Puff would grow out of this shit because he was so young, being in that type of field and having that kind of position.
Now, Janice, the delusional enabler, also said, I come to you today as a mother that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs. It is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies. To bear witness to what seems to be like public lynching of my son before he has had the opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. Like every human being, my son deserves to have his day in court. I finally share his side and to prove his innocence. I am not here to portray my son as perfect because he is not. He has made mistakes in the past, as we all have. My son may have not been entirely truthful about certain things, such as denying that he has ever gotten violent with his ex-girlfriend when the hotel surveillance showed otherwise. Sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside of the norm or is too complicated to be believed. This is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle the ex-girlfriend's lawsuit instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in a ricochet effect as the federal government used this decision against my son by interpreting it as an admission of guilt. It is important to recognize that none of us, regardless of our status, are immune to fear or mistakes. Not being entirely straightforward about one issue does not mean my son is guilty of the repulsive allegations and the grave charges leveled against him. Many individuals who were wrongfully convicted and later exonerated had their freedom taken from them, not because they were guilty of the crimes they were accused of, but because they didn't fit the image of what society considers to be a good person. History has showed us how individuals can be wrongfully convicted due to their past actions or mistakes. Watching the world make jokes and laugh at my son's life crumbling before our eyes is something I can never forget. It is truly agonizing to watch the world turn against my son so quickly and easily over lies and misconceptions without ever hearing his side or affording him the opportunity to present his side. These lies thrown at him are motivated by those seeking a financial gain and not justice. These individuals saw how quickly my son's civil legal team settled with his ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, so they believe they can pick a quick payday by falsely accusing my son. False allegations of sexual assault or true victims of sexual violence from getting the justice they deserve. To make matters worse, the federal government is now using these lies to prosecute my son. This injustice has been unbearable for our family. The worst part of this ordeal is watching my beloved son be stripped of his dignity, not for what he did, but for what people choose to believe about him. I ask his supporters, fans, colleagues, friends, and the public to not judge him before you had the chance to hear his side.
He's definitely judged. He definitely got judged. And after we heard his side, he still got judged. Well, we never heard his side. He didn't take the stand. But, and they didn't call nobody. So. I mean, shit. Well, we heard everything else, though. We heard everything else, and your son is a freak, man.
Beg you think about those who have been wrongfully persecuted to remember that not everyone who has made mistakes in life deserves to have their entire existence judged by a single action or a few mistakes. My son is not the monster they have painted him to be, and he deserved a chance to tell his side. I can only pray that I am alive to see him speak his truth and be vindicated. Respectfully submitted on behalf of Janice Combs and the Combs family.
So enabler would be a more accurate job description for you than accomplice.
Now the messed up thing on top of them teaming up to commit actual crimes together and kissing each other in the mouth is this woman is 80 plus years old. Neither one of them are gonna survive in prison.
Oh, that's cold. I mean, I know he ain't lying, but that's still cold to say, man. Goddamn. Neither one of them gonna survive. Look at Moms, though. Y'all think Moms was in on it? Y'all think Moms was in on the freak offs? Was Moms in on the freak offs? Do y'all think she was the one making sure the room was prepared for her son? Ooh, this could get deep. I think a lot of people dodged bullets with this case. I think a lot of people's names wasn't mentioned or brought to the light. Or, you know what I mean? I think Diddy held it down and didn't bring a lot of these people to the forefront who definitely participated with him. Everybody thought he was going to do, was going to spill and name drop everybody. He ended nothing, but let's go.
You already see Diddy asking for bail every damn week, like he wasn't just out here threatening witnesses to keep quiet. Now, a lengthy list of celebs has also been released who were mentioned in all of Diddy's charges, including his mom, and they all gonna go down. You got R&B singer Aaron Hall, music producer Har Pierre, actor Cuba Gooding Jr.
See, all these people dodged bullets. They presented all these people and nothing. I for sure thought we was gonna get something on Cuba, y'all. But that was in the Lil Rod case. They threw the Lil Rod case out. But I just knew we was finna get something on Cuba. They threw that out. They got that up out of there.
His son, Justin Dior Combs, Jacob the jeweler, and he's definitely going down.
Jacob the jeweler took part in the great. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Huh? Dang.
One of Diddy's ex-workers, he forced her to sleep with Jacob the jeweler, and he did nothing to prevent it. Jacob took that cookie.
You were always what I have just recently become.
A dirty old man.
Rapper Pissy Young Miami, producer Stevie J, singer Kalina Harper, and many more. And also the guy from One Direction was pushed off his balcony after mentioning his weird interaction with Diddy.
Wait. They just threw that in the mix. Because that didn't have nothing to do with Diddy. That had something to do with the girlfriend when they was taking a Tootsie, right? The dude from One Direction going out the window. Why you throw that on Diddy, man? See, they cold. That had nothing to do with Diddy.
Come on, man. Diddy got so many bodies on his hands at this point. His trial is scheduled for May 5th, 2025. And I don't think...
Wait. Diddy's tied into that, Alex? Are you sure? Nah. Diddy have something to do with that? Nah. You ain't finna make me. Nah.
He will be around to see that court date. Mark my words. Something strange is gonna happen before then.
His mom allegedly exposed him in wild sex parties as a child. Oh, whoa, here we go. Diddy's mom allegedly exposed him to wild sex parties as a child. I told y'all, I knew it. I knew we was getting somewhere. All right, we're getting somewhere now.
I want to speak about this now because I've witnessed everything.
Those drug-fueled orgies known as freak-offs, the shocking violence caught on tape and aired on CNN.
Combs can be seen grabbing Ventura and throwing her to the ground.
We've watched the case against Diddy building since his arrest in September.
The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
They said they could ship me off and sell me to anyone.
And now we're about to learn even more surprising details from inside Diddy's inner circle that could answer many burning questions.
How did this superstar music mogul become an alleged monster?
The documentary Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy from executive producer Ari Mark features never-before-seen bizarre footage of the music mogul's erratic behavior.
Nobody's shooting me. Nobody's shooting me. Anyone who's familiar with him in a real intimate way goes, yeah, no, that's him.
He already knew what he wanted.
I could be your manager. Just give me a chance. We've got Tim Patterson, childhood friend. We've got Gene, who is his bodyguard.
The film includes a deeply disturbing look back at Diddy's unique childhood.
I've known Sean since he was 4 years old. That's my little bro.
And this bombshell claim from one of Diddy's childhood friends that his mother, Janice Combs, hosted wild sex parties that her young son witnessed.
Come on, dog. Oh, no. Listen, did y'all just see what happened? Now, look, also, that also makes sense, y'all. I told y'all. Earlier, I just told y'all it had to come from somewhere. Usually people who are like this, they learn that at a young age. The mother has to be studied. Like, he don't just become like that, y'all. That is really, when you're that next level burnt out, that's from experiencing a lot of stuff and you're trying new things because you've experienced a lot over the years, man. But look at this, y'all. What was this about? Y'all kissing y'all mother like, this is damn near on her cheek, but it's like she's trying to kiss him in the mouth.
Janice Combs hosted wild sex parties that her young son witnessed.
Behind the mugshot, there's an upbringing. There's these catalyst moments. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah. Janice has not been accused of any illegal behavior. When we reached out for comment on these and the other allegations included in the
Hey, bro, 80 years old, and you still got that out. At 80 is crazy. You still trying to signal something. You still trying to, you know what I mean? 80 years old, you still out there with the, you know what I mean, with the things out. That's crazy.
Documentary, Diddy's team denied them all, saying, quote, this documentary recycles and perpetuates the same lies and conspiracy theories that have been slung against Mr. Combs for months.
It's not so much that his mother's behavior is so, unbelievable, or that there's so much salacious detail there, but planting that kernel early in the film, learn about the evolution of Sean Combs, and then realize these aren't isolated moments, that these things are connected.
I went to a lot of puffy parties. These were the parties that you needed exclusive access to get into.
And expect to hear more about those infamous freak-offs.
I've been with Sean for quite a while, and I've captured a lot of moments.
Insiders claim Diddy used red lights to signal when he was having sex.
Some of the ones who were in the room, for sure they were underage.
He thought that if people fear him, they respect him.
Fear reportedly ran rampant within the Combs compound as explosive new allegations surfaced from the film.
I think Sarah has one of the brightest futures in the band.
Making of the band star Sarah Rivers claims for the first time her music idol assaulted her while making the series.
Honestly, I didn't want to be around him unless there was cameras.
Diddy's lawyer has denied that the rapper has had non-consensual sex with anyone, including minors.
I don't know that she was expecting necessarily to share as much as she did, and I think it kind of almost took her off guard as well.
And for the first time on camera, Diddy's nemesis tells all. His deceased ex-wife Kim Porter's first husband, record producer Wilshire.
Something is not right with this.
Al has implied in the past that Diddy tried to kill him. He also doesn't believe Kim died from pneumonia, but was silenced because of a tell-all diary she was writing that mysteriously disappeared after her January 2019 death.
She had something clearly to say. If she was alive, she could provide a lot more context.
Kim's own children have denied she was writing a book, and her official cause of death is pneumonia.
I think Sean Combs can get away with anything.
The documentary special Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, begins streaming on Peacock tomorrow.
And I can show you how we have fun and stay out of jail too.
Hey, what happened to Cassie's? Because that's what he paid 20. That was part of 20 million, right? Why he paid her, because he didn't want the book to come out, because she had a tell-all book, and he gave her 20 million. That was part of like the hush, but that's dang, for you to pay 20 million for a book, a tell-all book, lets you know you got some crazy stuff going on. But did he really? He got the short end of the stick in this situation. Now listen, this is not. I mean, with his actions, I ain't talking about his actions. I'm talking about for somebody to pay $20 million to try to hush somebody up from what you do and getting out, only for it to get out and have to be displayed worldwide on the news every night. Like, you literally took an L. You might as well let the book come out. So what was in the book? Like, what was in the book then? If you wasn't tripping off this coming out, all the stuff that came out, what's in that book? Dang. Cassie slick, man. Cassie slick. She got 20 M's about him, only to come out and expose him still. She cold. And take the stand on him. She got 20 million to be quiet, only to not be quiet and take the stand. Golly. All right, let's see if there's any more stuff on the mother out here, man. The mother exposed him at a young age. Come on, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it had to come from somewhere, dog. Let me see. What is the mother name? Let's see, mother. Let's say allegations. I don't think I see nothing else. Media crowns. Nah, they don't really got nothing on his mama on here, y'all. Maybe they did a wipe. Maybe they wiped it. All right, let's see. Let's see what this is talking about. 15 seconds. Hold on.
Cassie reportedly claims that Diddy's mother had uniquely disturbing recipes. She says, Janice had this jar of Diddy's nut in the fridge and would take it out and drizzle it over macaroni.
What? Oh my God. I told y'all I heard that from somewhere. Somebody told us, but this is it right here. This is what, that is wild, bro. Oh my God. What? No. A jar of it. I just got a jar of it. And then you spread it over the macaroni. Bro. I'm telling you, the mother, bro. There's something about the mother. This, I don't know. That's too, it sounds so unreal, right? It sounds unreal. But after this trial, it don't. Before this trial, I would be like, man, that's crazy. That sounds stupid. But then knowing what Diddy was capable of and what he was about, and Cassie saying it, dang, what?
As if it was cheese, then baked it and made us eat it with tap water. Cassie.
Bro. What? Wait, what? Wait, was this in a trial? Was this in a trial? Did I miss this, y'all? And put it in the oven and baked it? Bro, and then made us drink tap water when we ate it? What? Nah, man, come on. This can't be real. Did Cassie really say that? Let me see. Let me look this up. Cassie, Diddy, macaroni. Nah. See, that had to be made up, huh? That's a sick story to put on him, though. Come on, y'all. All right, let's see something.
At the Sean Combs trial, quick lunch break, only 30 minutes. Here's a quick recap. David James, his personal assistant, testified. Right now, they are currently in the middle of the testimony of one of the escorts, but the big witness, in my opinion, this morning was Cassie Ventura's mother, Regina Ventura.
No. I want to see something else. If this macaroni, is that true? Nah, bro. Nut on that. Nah. See, I don't see it nowhere else. That gotta be cap. What's the mother name? Janice? Is it Janice Combs?
At the Sean.
You said jizzing, right? Oh my God. Jizz Mac.
Welcome to the gang.
All right, hold on. Nah. Okay, no. I'm not rolling with that one, y'all. I think that story is cap. I can't find it nowhere else. It would have been, if she would have said that during the trial, it for sure would have been other clips. Nah. All right. I think he beat that one, y'all. I think he beat that one. That was definitely a wild one, though. He beat that one, y'all. But, man, okay. What is her mother name, y'all? Is it Janice? What is Diddy's mother name? Let me see. Let's see something. Janice Combs, yeah, okay. All right. Like I know it's Janice. Janice Combs, the monster responsible for raising Diddy. The monster. He called her a monster. Damn. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Let's see what this got. Feds leak Janice Combs' disgusting past before Diddy. Let's see if this is a cap or this is some legit shit.
So it looks like Diddy's mom, Janice Combs, is not exactly the innocent woman that she would like us to believe she is, because fans just dug out some interesting things about her past. Let's just say that it's not exactly shocking that Diddy turned out the way he did, considering who raised him. Fans have speculated for years that Janice could have been enabling Diddy's bad behavior. Now it looks like we finally have some confirmation of that. Fans just put two and two together to uncover some seriously unsettling things about Janice's past. Did she really fake a health emergency to get Diddy out of legal trouble? And did she really accuse Cassie of lying and setting Diddy up? Let's break this down. If you've been following Diddy's story, then you probably already know that Janice raised him and his sister Keisha as a single mother after their father, Melvin Combs, passed away when Diddy was only 3 years old. Melvin was an officer in the Air Force, but it turns out that he was living a double life because he also worked with the notorious kingpin Frank Lucas. Yes, that Frank Lucas. There have been reports over the years that Melvin was in a failed deal, but hey, y'all didn't hear that from me. Anywho, after Melvin's death, Janice moved her kids away from Harlem to Mount Vernon in New York because she wanted them out of that life. She didn't want them to fall into the same lifestyle that their father did, but judging by what we know about Diddy, well, let's just say that she wasn't exactly successful in that regard. Anywho, even though they moved out of Harlem, the family used to visit frequently because Diddy's grandparents still lived in Harlem. Speaking about this, Diddy said, "Until I was 12, I lived in Harlem. Then we moved to Mount Vernon, New York. That was my mom's way of getting us out of the inner city after my father was but my grandmother lived in Harlem, so I went back and forth. I remember the simple things about Mount Vernon, grass, trees, and being able to play baseball. In Harlem, there was no Little League, no front yard with grass, but the neighborhood was multicultural, so that broadened my horizons." To Janice's credit, she did put in the work to care for and provide for her kids. She reportedly worked 3 jobs to put Diddy and Keisha through private school. She even went as far as lying to Diddy about how his father died to protect him from the truth. Diddy spoke about this in an interview and said, "She tried to protect me. My father was a hustler who sold during his time. That was the way out of Harlem, either that or playing basketball. My mother didn't want me to follow in his footsteps, so she was selective about which truths she told me. My father was in the army and he owned a limousine service and he died in a car accident. Actually, he was in a car. But even as a kid, I put 2 and 2 together. I noticed that guys from the streets in Harlem always seemed to know my family's last name. I used to run with their father, they'd tell me. All my uncles were street hustlers as well." Janice's hard work eventually paid off when her son became one of the biggest names in the rap industry. However, it didn't take long for rumors to start floating about their interesting relationship. Once Diddy's freak-offs were exposed, fans started putting 2 and 2 together and we realized how weird their relationship was. For example, in this weird video, Diddy showed off his mom's body and made a very weird comment about how she could touch the floor with her palms.
Yeah, my mom's gorgeous. Let me introduce you to my mom, called Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Awkward. I don't know. Your mother should be looking at you like that. Y'all see that little glance? The little glance she had? Let me see something. I don't know about that one.
With you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
My baby.
Mom, freshly dipped though. I was just trying to show you shoes. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's. She's single. Me and my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. And she's so picky. She's so picky, they don't stand. But yeah, that'd be the funniest show in the world.
It will be, especially with me.
I don't even want to get started if she was doing that. We're not doing that, cause yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom Duke know how to have a good time. She ain't sitting in the house playing. They outside moving and shaking, baby. She come with me to strip club. I don't care. Real. It's my dog.
80 years old in the strip club. 80 years old in the strip club with you.
Oh, you know, I want to live life. Be out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving.
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms, you know?
Awkward. Why? What? Why you? Wait, who brags like that about their mama? What? Y'all, did y'all hear that? Am I tripping?
She could touch the floor with her palms, you know? Flat. Oh! Take pew, pew, pew.
Now, that was creepy on so many levels. What? Oh, and y'all know those rumors of Janice enabling Diddy? Well, after Diddy got raided by the feds earlier this year, there were reports that he was going to be arrested. But the next thing we knew, Janice conveniently had a health emergency that required Diddy to be by her side. TMZ reported that Janice Combs was rushed to the hospital on Wednesday after she complained about discomfort in her chest. According to sources close to Diddy, it's still unclear exactly what caused the pain, but we're told she's going to remain in the hospital for at least another day. Our sources say Diddy was in Miami at the time and at his mom's request, went to the hospital to be by her side. We're told Janice believes the pain is related to stress over her son's legal woes, including the federal investigation and multiple civil lawsuits. She has been seen spending time with him in Miami in the months since the federal raids on his homes. For several weeks, Diddy circled the wagons and really only spent time with the family members like Janice and his kids. We're told doctors are keeping her hospitalized another night for further testing and observation, and Diddy is still there with her. As the source put it, he's her comfort in this. But the moment we found out that Diddy wasn't getting arrested, she conveniently ended up getting better. Interesting, isn't it? Now, given the whole federal case and the people who have come out, you'd think that Janice would feel a type of way, right? Well, no. Instead, she released a long statement where she dragged everybody and accused them of setting up her precious baby boy. She said, "I come to you today as a mother that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs. It is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies. To bear witness what seems to be like a public lynching of my son before he has had the opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. Like every human being, my son deserves to have his day in court, to finally share his side and to prove his innocence." She continued, "I am not here to portray my son as perfect because he is not. He has made mistakes in his past, as we all have. My son may not have been entirely truthful about certain things, such as..."
Mama was with the smoke, y'all. I mean, it's definitely giving vibes. It's definitely giving vibes of, yeah. She could have been involved, or she definitely knew of. They got a close relationship, as you can see. He said she's with him all. They got the strip club. She's with me everywhere I go. Mom's be outside moving and shaking. She for sure knew about everything that was going on. For sure.
Denying he has ever gotten an ex-girlfriend when the hotel surveillance showed otherwise. Sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when the truth is outside the norm or is too complicated to be believed. This is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle the ex-girlfriend's lawsuit instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in a ricochet effect as the federal government used this decision against my son by interpreting it as an admission of guilt.
Hey, why did Diddy's team not call nobody up? What was that about? Did they ever say why? Why they didn't have nobody come up?
It's crazy how she's trying to gaslight everyone about Diddy not being guilty of laying hands on Cassie when there's actual video proof of him doing the most in that hotel hallway. And let's not forget, Diddy himself admitted to getting with her, saying he was disgusted by who he was back then. But here comes Janice acting like him settling that lawsuit after just one day isn't basically an admission of guilt. Like, girl, please. The statement continued, "It is important to recognize that none of us, regardless of our status, are immune to fear or mistakes. Not being entirely straightforward about one issue does not mean my son is guilty of the repulsive allegations and the grave charges leveled against him. Many individuals who were wrongfully convicted and later exonerated had their freedom taken from them, not because they were guilty of the crimes they were accused of, but because they didn't fit the image of what this society considers to be a good person. History has showed us how individuals can be wrongfully convicted due to their past actions or mistakes. The statement also said, watching the world make jokes and laugh at my son's life crumbling before our eyes is something I can never forget. It is truly agonizing to watch the world turn against my son so quickly and easily over lies and misconceptions, without ever hearing his side or affording him the opportunity to present his side. These lies thrown at him are motivated by those seeking a financial gain and not justice. These individuals saw how quickly my son's civil legal team settled his ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, so they believe they can receive a quick payday by falsely accusing my son. But that's not all, because she also accused the feds of lying against Diddy and going on a witch hunt against him, stripping him of his dignity in the process. It said, false allegations of SA thwart true victims of SV from getting the justice they deserve. To make matters worse, the federal government is now...
Yeah, it's clear the mother loved her son, but I was trying to see if they had any other... We already heard this. We already heard that. What is this? Party as a kid. What? Oh, dang. Okay, hold on, y'all. That got a lot. I think we just cracked it down. Here comes all kind of Diddy's mother stuff right here. Dang. Let's see. Diddy's STD list is crazy. What? 20 videos. Dang. I'm expose this. Okay. All right, let's see the Sloan.
Yeah, my mom's a single. Mom do know how to have a good time. She ain't sitting in the house playing. Outside moving and shaking, baby. She come with me to strip club. I don't care. Real.
I love you.
Love you too.
Diddy is a monster, but a monster isn't born on their own. Meet his mother, Janice Combs. She's always by her son's side, whether it's in the courtroom, at his parties, in the bedroom, or even at the strip club. There's something very weird about Diddy's relationship with his mother, so let's get into it. So lately, we've been talking about the disturbing allegations against Diddy. I mean, today I saw a headline that once upon a time, there was a 10-year-old boy given a drugged soda by Diddy and then attacked by him. You can't make this stuff up. Diddy is a monster, which makes me question who raised him. So today we're diving into his mother.
Is this dude credible, or is this one of those super slander pages? Let's see.
Introduce you guys to Janice Combs. She got pregnant by Melvin Combs, and they gave birth to Diddy in 1969. Now, Diddy did not grow up with a father figure in his life because when Diddy was 3 years old, his father, Melvin,
spread that. So he look like a wagon.
was killed. Diddy was primarily raised by Janice, who was a model and a teacher's assistant. You guys may have noticed that lately in the headlines, Janice has been defending her son, which I get defending your child, but at this point, you cannot.
Yeah, I can't watch this one, y'all. I need like the video where your voice is behind the screen and you showing us stuff, but I ain't doing that one, brother. Yeah, all right, okay. We just studying Diddy's mom right now, y'all. We studying Diddy's mom right now.
Sean Diddy Combs was once known for throwing extravagant and even wild parties, with attendees being some of the most famous people in Tinseltown. Now those once famous parties are considered infamous. But Combs' fall from grace happened nearly a year prior to his arrest, when his former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, filed a jaw-dropping lawsuit accusing him of forcing her to participate in drug-fueled orgies known as freak-offs, as well as being mentally and physically abusive towards her throughout their decade-long relationship. Of course, we know that lawsuit was filed and settled within 24 hours. However, those two words, freak-offs, have seemingly become synonymous with Combs. But is it possible that he didn't learn this on his own, instead possibly getting the idea from another family member, like his own mom? Yeah, as disturbing and gross as it sounds, one of Diddy's friends says Janice Combs often threw wild parties of her own when the producer was
I am Francine. Thank you for subscribing.
younger. Hip-hop producer Tim Dog Patterson, a childhood friend of Diddy, made the shocking claim in the latest Peacock documentary, Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. He said, "I've always been asked the question why. I don't know the answer to why, but I truly believe it goes back to childhood." Well, the 55-year-old appeared to not have the most idyllic white picket fence childhood. He grew up in Mount Vernon, New York after his mom moved their family there after his father, Melvin Combs, was murdered in '72. Melvin was known to run around with drug kingpins such as Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas. And according to Patterson, while Diddy played Little League, made the football team, and ironically was an altar boy, he was still bullied as a kid. Patterson claims that there was always things going on at Diddy's home, like Janice throwing wild parties. He said a younger Diddy was exposed to a lot, like all types of alcohol, reefer smoke, drug addicts were around, he was around pimps and pushers. Patterson says that was just who was in our house. People that attended the parties were from Harlem, from the streets. It wouldn't be a thing to mistakenly walk into one of the bedrooms and you got a couple in there butt naked. Sound familiar? Well, Patterson added, that's what we were privy to. This is what we were fed. Was it desensitized?
What? Walk in and got a couple. Wow.
Us? I'm sure it was. Were we aware of it? No, that was just Saturday night. Well, it seems like Diddy, Janice's alleged parties were also the secret talk of the town. DJ Easy Lee Davis, who also grew up with Diddy, said he never attended Janice's alleged wild parties, but he heard rumors about what happened there. Diddy himself has previously been vocal about his early introduction to sex. He told Vibe magazine in '99 he lost his virginity at just 12 years old and frequently watched porn, trying to replicate the moves he saw. At this time, neither Janice...
Dang, so it makes sense, right? And it all makes sense if you're hearing this. At 12, this is what he was doing and trying to replicate the moves. And then now at the age he's at now, he's trying to direct it and replicate, and he has an addiction to seeing and watching people perform. It all makes sense. At 12 years old, having an addiction is great.
Janice nor Sean Combs have publicly responded to these claims, but the matriarch has seemingly been supporting her son through his federal sex trafficking trial, even offering up her own home to try to help secure bail for her son, which we know was denied multiple times. As for the disgraced mogul, he remains in federal detention until his upcoming high-profile trial that's slated to begin in May. However, despite a federal trial still looming over his head, he still faces almost 40 civil lawsuits from women and men who accuse him of sexual misconduct. His reps have denied any and all the allegations made against him in the various lawsuits, saying Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or sex trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. So much to unpack with this latest claim, so let's bring on now forensic and clinical psychologist Dr. Joni Johnston. Joni, always great to see you. First I have to get your reaction to this claim against Sean Diddy Combs that, or against Sean Diddy Combs' mother, I should say, that she allegedly threw her own wild sex parties when Diddy was younger. What do you make of all of this?
Well, certainly there's a lot of information that needs to be substantiated, investigated, and those kinds of things. But when we look at people who become sexual offenders, we oftentimes see early exposure to sexuality, whether that's pornography or...
See, that's why I was telling y'all, it stemmed from a young age.
Or actual sexual behavior. And we oftentimes see that within the family. And so, that kind of environment growing up in is going to have an impact on a child growing up. Now, it doesn't make excuses for what people do in adulthood. And the form that can take really depends on a lot of different things, including things such as what are the family values? Are the family values about, being open and honest about things? Or if there's trauma in a family, do families deal with it? Or how is that child raised? Is this child raised as somebody to be tough, to be more of aggressive, or is this child taught to be something different? So it's complicated in terms of how people turn out the way that they are. But it doesn't surprise me if the allegations against him are true, that he was exposed to sexuality at an early and inappropriate age.
Yeah. And, kind of going back to just some of the articles that he had given or some of the interviews he had given back in the 90s, he had been very vocal about how he had lost his virginity at the age of 12 years old. In your opinion, do you think that this was just a sign of the times? It's the 70s. People are very kind of more lax and kind of those virtues, I should say, in a way. But do you think that any of this was just a sign of the times?
I think that our sensitivity around sexuality and the impact it can have, if it happens prematurely, the impact of sexual trauma or sexual abuse, we've become much more.
In the 70s, though, y'all. 12 in the 70s. The dope era. 12 in the dope era. Y'all know what them parties was like, and y'all done seen movies, and especially in Harlem. I know y'all done seen the movies about when the dope era hit Harlem and New York and all that. And you 12 years old inside them parties. They saying at any given time you can walk in the house and people in the room. And he's exposed to that. So just imagine who gave him, you know what I mean? Who kicked it off for him.
More sensitive, fortunately, and much more aware of those kinds of things. I don't, though, think that, engaging, for example, in sexual intercourse at age 12 was ever a norm. When we look historically at the average age of sex, I mean, it's been between like 15 and 17, certainly for quite a while now. So, having sex at 12 is very, very young. And so, where there might have been a lack of sensitivity to the potential impact of exposing children to maybe adults having sex and those kinds of things, I don't think that we can justify or say that it was just because of the times.
And what do you make of Diddy's childhood friend saying that it was desensitizing and just a regular Saturday night over there?
Well, I think that that's, any of us who have children, and I have 4 myself, I mean, we know that children grow up in an environment and it's normal to them. So I have certainly interviewed people who've had incredible trauma in their family.
Is that his mama? She looked totally different right there. She looked totally different right there.
Family or incredible abuse, bizarre things that were going on. And yet from that child's perspective, it was normal. I mean, I can remember one interview that I had with somebody and I was asking him about physical abuse. And he's like, no, I didn't have any in my family. And then I realized early on that I was going to have to change that question for people and ask about specific behaviors, because oftentimes there was this lack of recognition that this was abuse. This was normal to them. And so unless I ask about specific behaviors, I might not get the answer that I thought I was getting, or I was misinterpreting that. And so, children do think of things as normal in their family. And so other adults who are not involved in that situation might look at it and go, this is abusive. This is exploitive of children for them to be exposed to that. But for that child, this is normal. This is a normal Saturday night. This is what I grew up seeing and being exposed to.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on here. Now it's making sense. See, I never even thought to look at the mother, like, and her past and all that stuff. I never thought, me personally, and I know some of y'all probably the same way, like, y'all never looked at the mother's past. But now that we're looking at the mother's past, it's really making a lot of sense. It's making a lot of sense. Now, I'm not going to say she's the one that, I mean, yes, she exposed him to it for sure, because it was in their household. As you heard, at 12 years old, he was walking in the house and he would see at any given moment some stuff going on. So he was exposed to it through her. Now, I ain't going to say she the one that, touched him or anything like that. So, but at an early age, 12. So this is something he's been experiencing for going crazy. And now that explains why he is how he is. That explains it. I said at 12 years old, he had addiction. And that explains it, brother. Damn. Moms? Okay, moms. Okay. Damn. All right, we're going to get up off that one right there, man. We're going to get up off that one right there. All right. I think that's enough, man. I don't think there's nothing else to see on the mama. Like, every story is starting to tell the same take at this point. We done watched about 3-4 videos on her, 5 videos. There's nothing left to see on the mother. I think it's pretty obvious. You know what I mean? It was definitely introduced and ushered into his life through her. The whole freak tales and walking in the house and seeing freaky things going on, which kind of, similarities to his after parties, the freak offs. You know what I mean? Dang. All right, we just learned something new, y'all. I did for sure. I mean, I didn't know that. Ace Pit, what it do? If you rock with the movement, it's time to level up. Hit that join button and become a member today. Get exclusive access to behind-the-scenes videos, members-only live streams, and custom emotes you can flex in the chat. Support the ABP Network and tap in today. Members only. Let's get it.